I'm gonna tell you what Kevin Hart told me backstage before he got super, super famous. And I told him we were friends. We were boys. He would come into town. We were young. We were both, we partied. And just a great, fantastic man that I'm so happy he's been so successful. Not to say we hang out or anything anymore. But he looked at me and he goes, Carlos? I said, man, I think I need to go to LA. I was like, I need to go to LA. And he goes, Carlos, you don't go to LA. Wait till LA calls you.
They're speakers, authors, and real-life rock stars, bringing you life-changing thoughts that rock, taking conversation all the way to 11.
Most shows only go to 10.
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? These go to 11.
This is Thoughts That Rock. Now, here are your hosts, Jim Knight and Brant Menswar.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Your favorite podcast?
Your favorite podcast? Who?
I don't know. I didn't think beyond that. Sorry. It's Thoughts That Rock.
Thoughts
folks.
That Rock would be the
knocking
answer.
at your door. Knock, knock, knocking on the podcast door. You know, it's us. It's Brant and Jim, and we are going to enlighten you all today with some wisdom.
You've been drinking this morning, haven't you?
Balsamic vinegar. It goes bad if you don't use it.
So you just chug it when it's at the end of its expiration date.
Aged to perfection.
Yeah, we had a really fun time on this latest episode. This is a little bit different. Yeah. You know, like you said, we're always trying to solve issues or problems or obstacles. I would guess there are some people out there, some budding actors or people that want to get on the radio or whatever it is. And to have a guy that is really a local celebrity talk about how to break into the entertainment industry was pretty cool for us. Yeah. It's our friend Carlos Navarro.
Absolutely. Carlos, probably best known now for being co-host of Monsters in the Morning.
Yeah. Number one rated show, actually, in Central Florida.
I mean, amazing, right? I mean, I followed that show since it was, you know, Russ and Bo and Dirty Jim. And
it was Monsters of the Midday for the longest time.
For the longest time. I mean, I remember back when they had their like event company that would like rent out like bounce houses and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they would pay for time on Saturday morning to talk to people.
It's crazy.
But, yeah.
And Carlos has been on there, if I remember correctly, since he was a teenager. He's like 17 years old, and he just sort of stuck it out. And, you know, now I recognize him because I'm one of the few that watched The Walking Dead all the way through, and he played some great characters on that in Negan's group. But now I was just blown away when I saw him on Marvel's Hawkeye. So I watch all that Marvel stuff. And on the Disney Plus streaming service to see him, he was one of the Tracksuit Mafias, which is like one of the best part about that series. I never thought they would bring the Tracksuit Mafia to like real live action, but he was I can't remember the character's name. I want to say Enrique. I think that's who it was on The Walking Dead, but he's great, man. This guy is now on with the Monsters in the Morning. He's on the number one podcast in Florida. Yep. I think it's number 35 podcast in all of iHeartRadio. So
just like us, we're right there, number 36 or something, right?
I think it's 37, 38. We're trying to catch up. We're trying to catch a little bit of that iHeart eyeballs. It was so nice to have this guy just sort of spend some time and give us some insights for people that are looking to break into the industry. He came with 3 rock solid solutions. So we think you guys are going to really like this one.
Check out this conversation we had with Carlos Navarro.
Whoa, there he is.
The legend.
Carlos Navarro.
The legend. Yeah.
Finally, after all this time.
No joke.
We here now.
We are.
It's taking a minute. The man is busy. He's a busy man.
He might be busier than we are.
Yeah.
We think we're busy. We're hustling. He is on every medium there is.
I know.
TV, radio.
Hey, try, boys.
You know? Yeah, well, you know, when I was doing Walking Dead, that wasn't it. No,
you actually were on a Nickelodeon show, though, right?
I was when I was a kid. Yeah. When I was a kid, I was a 21-year-old playing a kid, but I was the school bully on Welcome Freshman, which was the if you remember, that was like the Nickelodeon's version of.
He doesn't remember
90210. Yeah.
Oh no, I do remember that series. It really left on an arc. It really, we don't know what happened with that bully. What happened?
We ask about him all the time.
I only always had 2 lines. which was garbage inspection, and then I would throw one of the dudes into a garbage can.
Dang.
I was an
You were a
extra.
90s bully.
I was an extra on Swamp Thing and Superboy, which filmed here. Does that? And we were actually in the same scene in the only movie I'd ever been in what it was it Child's Play?
It was Problem Child 2.
Problem Child 2.
Problem Child 2 absolutely shot here.
And we didn't even know each other back then.
We were in this was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We were in the same scene. We were on the scene of everybody on the
Barfarama. Everybody was on
the whatever it was.
Classic,
right?
legendary carnival.
Had
scene.
no
Yes.
idea that we were both there until maybe 3 years ago. We were doing something and we were both sharing like a little unknown fun facts. And we were like, "Are you kidding me? I was in that same exact scene."
So we went and pulled we went and got the DVD and pulled it up. We're watching each other on camera. It's hilarious.
That's it. Look at us puke.
Aww.
But we digress.
Serendipitous.
Carlos, you're here. We are extras in a carnival scene. You're actually with lines, and people can actually notice you in The Walking Dead. And right now, one of my favorites is as one of the tracksuit mafia Marvel's Hawkeye.
Come on.
I love it.
What's up, bro?
Tracksuit
Doing, bro?
If that's not one of the best names, it's like I want to be in that band.
Who doesn't? There should be a band.
A little on the nose. Yeah. Let's
make that band. Let's make it happen. Good. Honestly, we're thrilled that you're here. I know in the intro we were just talking about your awesome radio career, and really as you're starting to expand into other mediums and ultimately even doing some things like what you and I do, Brant. I know that's a future for Carlos as well. So, man, we could go into so many different directions, but definitely when we threw it out there as a topic, and we're in Central Florida, so there are actors, there are people that work in the theme parks that are some pretty witty, I would say, tour guides just looking to get into the entertainment business. And why not come right to the source of one of our favorite local celebrities?
That's right.
And just said, Carlos, give us 3 thoughts on how to break into the entertainment industry. So, brother, we're just going to leave it open to you, man. What is your first thought that rocks on how to do this? Because I know it's tough.
All right. My first, thank you so much. It is really awesome to be here, and to our lives have been connected in many ways. As you're reciting all those movies, I tried out for those movies as a kid. We all heard about those auditions, and
look at you making us feel good.
No, I'm serious. Cop and a Did you ever do a Rent-A-Cop too? That was another one. I think they had a Cop and a half or something like that.
Carlos, the difference is we were 40 when we did those shows.
Yes. That is a little different. That's a little different.
Aged out by that.
No, honestly, Orlando is an epicenter for entertainment.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's a springboard. A lot of times it's home. And so I do get a lot of people that ask me almost daily how to get into entertainment. So I've never actually fully dedicated a time to talk about this. So I'm really glad that Thoughts That Rock is the perfect place to do this, because we can really elaborate on it. So they're not in a specific order, but why not start with my own personal catchphrase?
That's where I'd start.
Right.
Let's do it.
Because it really is true. And that is, to the top, never stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Okay. It's my own personal motto that my wife and I created when we were dead ass broke. Okay. Hadn't booked a single gig. It was trouble. It was 2007. A lot of people don't remember 2007 and 8. Bad times. It was rough. It was rough out there in them streets, And man, we were needing a win. And I had this dream of acting and kind of building back up something, entertainment. I'd kind of lost some stuff. And man, I said, we need a motto, babe. We need something that gets us going, And I was reading a little thing about Theodore Roosevelt. He was a very inspirational guy. And he was talking about going up this hill with moccasins on, and they ripped on the way there. And this is like 2007. I'm really like, oh my God, back now we get a YouTube video, we watch the whole thing. Then it was magazines, baby. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And one of the things he goes, doesn't matter where we go, to the top we shall proceed. And I was like, to the top. And it hit me like that. I was like, because I need to go to the top. That's good. To the top. And so I get home. I hurry home with my wife. Now, mind you, I was selling slicers. I think at this point I'd just gotten fired. We didn't have many tops. Our top was maybe topping out the bank account at $200. Okay. And I go, baby, I got a catchphrase. And she said, what is it? And I said, to the top. And she's like, never stop. And I'm like, oh, and forever. That's when Facebook first started. So I started posting it.
Yeah.
To the top, never stop. To the top. Not fully understanding what it was, but it was this rally cry. Every time we'd eat S, every time we'd lose, it was like, nah, to the top, never stop. And you know what it ended up being? And I'm sure y'all both have heard this since you are experts in this field and in what you do. It's about the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the top, right? To the top. We're going to the top. But once you realize you hit a top, you're at the top, you're like, okay, this is it? Okay. No. It's the proverbial top, baby. Entertainment is a proverbial mountaintop that you will never reach. And that's why you never have to stop. That doesn't mean Gary Vaynerchuk, sleep, no way, hustle, grind. No.
Yeah.
You got to love the journey, bro. Yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Entertainment's brutal. So if you don't love every part of it, the audition, how they shoot the thing, who they're talking to, the mic, how you set up a mic, the connection, you're gonna fade out.
Yeah.
And so to the top, never stop is about enjoying the journey, appreciating it, but there's always another top, baby.
Yeah.
So you better not stop.
I think it's one of those things that, even in the speaking business, and you meet some people who are really successful, and we have friends who you would have never heard of. They're niche, right? There's, as Jay Bear likes to say, there's riches in the niches, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is a really unique place. But they've made millions and millions of dollars, and you think that that's like the ultimate, right? You get to the top, and there it is,
right? And
then you realize, like, there are people out there charging $100,000 for a mastermind for a weekend, and you're like, what?
Crazy.
What? And so you get and you realize that's another top. And then, what I've realized over the years, it's horse money, man. When you've got horse money, that's a top. I don't know that there's a top above you. You got to have
horse money. Give me that horse money. What, I don't get that. Like, give me a breakdown.
If you're in the horse game, you've got money to just piss away, right?
Got you. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It is FU money at a level that is like, yeah. I mean, so you get that level where you're wealthy and you're wearing your Rolex, you got a little bit of bling, whatever it is, your AP, you're doing your thing, and you want people to see. But when you got horse money, you're wearing white t-shirt and jeans and Vans
because you can,
because you don't give a shit, because you're getting in your G5 that nobody knows you have, that lives in the hangar behind your house, and that is a different level of success. It is. And so, like,
succession.
Yeah, every time we reach that top, we go, oh, there's a whole other world out there that we didn't know existed until you got high enough to see it. And I think that that's the key.
Yes, man, that what you just said there was true. Like you hit something, and then it's something you hit that you would have dreamed about, but you hit it, and then you're like, all right, what's the next thing? That's not great.
Yeah.
That right there is not great because you really then there's no level of happiness. Then there's always the next thing. So the top is whatever you like, man, we reached this mountaintop. There are many mountaintops.
Yeah.
But it's about appreciating it once you get there and figuring out, okay, cool. Now we can move to this one. Now we can move to that one. But man, that's a horse money. I like that phrase. I'm going to start using that.
I love this as well. And I was just thinking, and Carlos Brandt is an actual rock star. So being on the road 20, 25 years, singing, play guitar. I mean, I'm so jealous of being able to do that. Mine was really in corporate America. So, I ran training and development for Hard Rock International for 21 years. And this actually resonates with me because it actually is I think, part of my journey. I thought, I never really wanted to be promoted further than where I was. I had no desire to run a specific property or be a COO or a CEO, but I loved what I was doing as head of training and development. So the stuff that I started doing on the side, and honestly, print, video, e-learning awards, we had done all that. My team was completely promotable. I felt like I'd gotten as far as I could in a company. And
We'd like to thank the Academy for
here's one of my many awards now.
Damn.
But
keep them on hand too.
I could have just settled on that and just been happy and just laid back and said, man, look at all the accolades. I'm gonna keep doing this, and I have a nice salary and benefits and blah, 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 blah. But to the top never stop. Same thing. I said, listen, I got to jump off the deep end because I want to go vertical. I want a louder voice in the world. I have forever said, and even in some of my books, that journey is the entire, that's the pathway for me. That's how you ultimately get to nirvana, whatever that is for you. And I don't think things happen to you. I think they happen for you if you look at it very positively. So that whole to the top, never stop. I'm so glad that your wife added that part in there. That it really doesn't ever end, right? It's a constant quest to get better. Even if you thought you were at the absolute pinnacle, if I turned around and had no competitors, if I really was winning the awards every year, I'm still hungry, brother. I would still want more. That's just what drives, I think, us and people that are in probably your industry, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I did look up both of your backgrounds, and you guys mesh really, really well because like you're hard rock, you're a rock star. It's kind of like perfect.
Smoke and mirrors. It's all fake. It is.
But it is true, man. You have to. So many people get up in the morning, and I also do one-on-one coaching, and I love that because man, you get in the weeds of like literally somebody's life, and you learn and you realize, man, everybody wants to fit in and everybody needs to have a purpose. And if you're not striving for something, another one is like purpose is passion and passion is purpose. And it's very hard to achieve stuff if you don't have that fuel. And sometimes you got to create a mountaintop, especially when you've been extremely successful. Where somebody maybe just needs to humble you at times too. Kids are good at that. Kids are always good at
co-host too.
So sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So to the top, never stop. That was definitely one of them for sure.
I love that.
I love the in the Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan. You find out that he made up this whole story of this guy talking shit to him during the games, and he used that as fuel. And the guy never said anything about it, but in his head he had made up the whole deal so that the next game he was so fired up. But that's what I mean. Listen,
is that what you're doing with me?
That's what I do every episode.
I think he's doing
every episode.
Every episode, I make stuff up in my head.
Well, I tell you what, right? You just saying that right now, Brett. It was funny because the top is interesting because I just experienced a top that I didn't know I want. Like, I assistant coach my girls softball team. My daughter's 12. Okay, awesome. The year before she went 0-12. It was a hard ass season, and it was rough. And she tries so hard. She's good, but it was just one of those years. I was like, look, you're gonna have a better year, and you're hoping because she loves it. And then this year they go 17-0.
What?
Totally
that is stop flop. That is UCF man right there,
dude. I'm telling you, Deland, shout out to the sweepers.
Guess
what I was their assistant coach, but I also was their mental coach. And so from the very beginning of the year, I would tell these young ladies, hey, you got to watch The Last Dance. You got to watch this college. And one of the things I would tell them, I'd get in their head before the game. I'd be like, hey, I think they got some juniors on that team. I think they got some 14-year-olds on that team. Like, really? I'm like, yeah, that girl's, I think she's in high school. And they're like, oh, really? You better step your game up.
That's right.
You better step your game up. Let's go. The only people going to beat you is you. And like, so I'm using, and so this is the top, right? We win, right? I get the girls in the back of the old Hyundai Santa Fe because it's paid off, Poppy, and I'm not going to get a new car. We already got another car, okay? So they all pile in, and we're screaming around the land, we are the champions. And everybody's like, oh, those girls will always forget that they got to do that with you. I'm like, that was me. Like, that was so exciting to see these girls, like a moment like that. That's a literal top in my life. Is it the same as being on a red carpet with Hawkeye in Hollywood? No, but they're both tops, and we would have never gotten there had we been like, softball's pretty tough, honey. I guess sometimes you win them, sometimes you maybe try piano. No, man, you got to keep going.
That's right.
You got to keep going, man.
That's right. Why is this not in his bio?
Right.
You took on an 0-16 and now you turn it 1 year 17-0. That should be like, I'm a softball expert, man.
Dude,
come on.
This just happened 3 weeks ago. We're going into All-Stars. It's a funny thing. You guys, I bet you are the same exact way. Once you get into something, you really want to learn about it. So you're studying. You go to YouTube and you watch videos and you read books about it. So that's softball in my life right now, and it's nothing to do with my entertainment.
No, but that's the best.
Total bastion.
Love that.
Yeah,
it's so fun. All right, man. That's awesome. What is your second thought that rocks?
My second thought that rocks was brought up today on my live radio show. And I was going to tell the guys here, and they were trying to get it out of me. They were trying to pry it out of me with little
He wouldn't tell us anything.
Everybody's doing it.
No, you're not going to bully me, Brian. Okay, you're not. Not one of your kids from Hello Freshman. I'm not a problem child extra. You're not going to throw up on me. Okay?
Nice callbacks. I love it.
Thank you. I try.
You're a pro.
So today, young gentlemen on our show, we did a 5-hour show. We do it every day, Monday through Friday on the iHeartRadio app, or if you're in town, 104.1. Why not? And we're like a variety show. Finally, I realized what our show is. We are a talk variety comedy show.
Yeah.
And we have country artists, we have, comedians. And today was a country artist. This dude, right out of Central Casting, good looking. Got the tattoos. The girls are like, "Who is this?" He got the, "How you doing, man?" Yeah. I'm like, "Wow, look at this son of a bitch." I mean, you're bald. I got some wrinkles. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. It don't matter. I still look good. So I say the guy we're interviewing, he plays so good, and he's like, I just I'm a Florida boy, man. He's got Gators on. He's like, I'm a Florida boy. And but I got to go out to Nashville, man. That's the LA to country stars, right, as we know, as you both definitely know. And I said, no, don't do it. So this is the quote, right? This is the thought. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what Kevin Hart told me backstage before he got super, super famous.
Ooh, okay.
And I told him we were friends, we were boys. He would come into town. We were young. We were both. We partied. And just a great, fantastic man that I'm so happy he's been so successful. Not to say we hang out or anything anymore, but he looked at me and he goes, "Carlos," I said, man, I think I need to go to LA. I was like, I need to go to LA. And he goes, "Carlos, you don't go to LA. Wait till LA calls you." And I was like, what? And at that time, it was like, they're not calling Kevin. They don't even know I exist. You're Kevin Hart. They don't know Carlitos from Castleberry. Okay, they don't know him yet. But when he said that to me, and my wife was there, because we were seriously considering moving to LA. Yep. And I was like, I had a couple parts, I had a couple, but nothing. And he goes, "You dominate the market you're at. Yeah. You do the best you can. You crush it." He's like, "That's what I did." And that's when I started moving. And I said, "Thanks, man." I said, I really appreciate that. And then I did that. I took that to heart. And I went and I dominated the Florida market. I did all the commercials. I did all the moves. I made all the casting directors. Yeah. Then I moved into Georgia and I started dominating that because I was very focused and not thinking, I need to be in LA, while my friends would move out there and get lost in the shuffle. Yeah. And thankfully, before even Hawkeye and all this stuff, they started calling, and I would get flown out there for parts. And I always remembered that. And if I ever get a chance to hang out with Kevin again, that is what I would say, man, you really honestly save so much. Cause as you both know, like when you're the lead, when you go out to LA, good luck being the softball dad. Yeah. Good luck keeping your relationship with your 15-year marriage of your wife. Good luck. Because if you know those leads, that shit's gone, because it's a different world that I wasn't built for. I'm built for this. And I think that's one thing in entertainment. Know who you are. You really want to be a lead? Yeah. You want to be a lead singer? Yeah. You want to be a lead guitar player? You ready to be gone on the road all the time? Yeah. You ready for that life?
He does not.
I wasn't. I would have crumbled. So that was what I told the kid today.
I love it. It's great advice. Listen, we when we signed, we played, the college market for years, right? And to the point where you're doing 100 shows a year or whatever, and you're getting a name for yourself. It sort of bucks against this idea of concentric circles, or I'll use Sister Hazel. You know what I mean? Sister Hazel became.
I love Sister Hazel.
They became so famous because they were so smart about what they did, and they would play Gainesville, and then they'd go and play, Atlanta, and then they'd go and play Orlando or Tampa. And like they just worked these little circles, and they'd come back every 6 weeks. And every time they'd come back, a few more fans would show up, and they would just build that relationship, and it became this thing. And when you sort of go on the college market, you play wherever colleges will hire you, right? And so you're in the right. You're in the calf. You're just excited because they have a budget, and people are screaming at you to turn it down because they can't finish their freaking mush mouth sandwich, whatever they're eating. And it's like, so we live that for a while, but it becomes so hard because you want to have that next level of success, right? We wanted to move to Nashville and just chase the dream, but to be honest, we visited Nashville, and the guy, handed me fries at McDonald's, grabbed the guitar, and I'm like, holy shit, that dude's amazing. and he's at McDonald's. What the hell are we doing here? Let's go back to Florida. You know, like we did not want that competition. And they all have the dream. They're all sacrificing. They're all doing what it takes. And it's like, go find a smaller market and kick the shit out of it until you're just the king or queen of that market. And then wait for that call. I love that advice.
Awesome.
Well, and I think this is also, again, you're talking about the entertainment business. I think if you look around, this happens in almost every industry. I think about newscasters. You know, they aren't going out and pitching themselves for the next big volume market. They crush whatever it is they're doing, whether they're a weatherman or they're a small anchor in a town. We actually have several of Central Florida newscasters that are now on CNN. They're on Fox News. Absolutely. And you're like, wow, that guy or that girl made it. And they came a calling. They got recognized. I think about in ministry. Yeah. This happens with preachers. They're not actually out there pumping their resume everywhere. They build up sort of the congregation. At some point, someone's going to see them and ask them to go and take over a much bigger group. So again, I think for our audience, which is very diverse, I think they're looking at this and going, this probably works for me. I can tell you, it actually is, again, part of my story where I thought I was going to leave Hard Rock 10 years earlier than I actually did, because I was at the point where I thought I'm at the ceiling, and we had a competitor at that time, Planet Hollywood, who was starting a sports theme cafe. All-Star Cafe is what it was called. And I was being recruited to come and be one of these, trainers. It wasn't even head of training. It was just going to be a trainer, but go and do All-Star Cafe openings all over the world. And that was like, whoa, that was so much fun and cool. But right as that was happening, and my old boss had left Hard Rock, was doing all this at All-Star, he was courting me to go and leave and join him. We had a new guy that came on board that was a new head of training at Hard Rock, and it was a literal fork in the road. And I thought, I have an opportunity to go do this cool, fun, sexy thing, or keep doing what I'm doing for this new guy and not really knowing. And he pulled me aside, and this goes back to your thought. He goes, listen, that sounds fun. That sounds exciting. It's going to be sexy. He goes, but you're just going to be a voice in the chorus. You're going to get lost in the thick of thin things, like going to Nashville, or in your case, going to LA. Yep. He goes, if you stay here, within a couple of years, I'm going to groom you. And who knows, if I'm not here, you'll wind up being head of all training for the company. And that's exactly what happened. He left 5 years later. I moved into the role, and All-Star Cafe doesn't exist now. They left the scene about 15 years ago. So, I think you make a great point. I think if you just are really happy with what you're doing, don't be so concerned. I know you talked about getting to the top and never stopping, but I think this second thought is so relevant, where you can go, I can't control everything, but I can keep crushing what I do. I'm going to post as many W's as I possibly can. Yeah. I'll get recognized, and now I have more options. It doesn't mean I'm going to go do something else, but if it was available, let them come to me versus me chasing something. I think it's fantastic.
Man, that is there's those literal forks, and I mean, I shouldn't say figurative forks in the road like you had. Yeah. And actually, one of the things that I coach is something called the Passion Project, because you hear this to the top, never stop. You're like, damn, I didn't get on. I can't do Hard Rock. I can't be touring bands. I can't be I'm filming TV. But you can be on stage in your local community. Yeah. Yep. But you can play guitar in your church. Yep. Totally. But you can post on social media. So I have this whole course really that's called the Passion Project, and it teaches people to keep your 9 to 5 and go do comedy on the weekend. Yeah. To keep your awesome engineering job that you worked really hard for. Don't give it up. Move to Atlanta. You never acted a day in your life, and you're like, I have a look. No, you have to. How about start with commercials? Yeah. And so it's like literally showing people, like, how did I succeed in the midst of losing it all and getting arrested and just having a crazy ass life? I always kept my foot in that door, and I would always be like, hey, I'm in a play. Cool. That's my top. Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah. And so there's two versions. There's a version of like, you're trying to even get the foot in the door and appreciate things. And that's the Passion Project. Hey, let's get some of these wins here. Do you have to be the A-list actor? I know when I came to the realization that, okay, you know what? I'm not Tom Cruise. I am this guy. This is who I am. And damn it, I'm so happy that I am. Yeah. Man, the world gets so much easier. Yeah. The world gets so much easier.
We actually know somebody in the speaking business, Warren, and when you think about this at Kepler too, where he works a lot with people that are not the A-list. They're not carrying the movie. There's that. What was the word? It was like a character actor, right?
Character actor.
Guild.
Yeah, character actor.
There are conferences.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
get together in a
Supporting.
group. I don't know if you're a part of that, but
I don't, but I should go.
yeah, we should totally turn you on to them.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think you dig
It's
it.
literally a guild of character actors that that they all support each other, but they know they've accepted and love the fact that they are character actors that will work way more than the leads will, because they can transform into these character
Totally.
roles that are much more readily available.
You may not know it, but
But
you
don't get
might
me-
be a god to them.
Yeah.
They might be
That's
talking
right.
about you
So-
all the time.
You never know. I would love to meet him because acting is brutal business. It's
Yeah.
brutal, man.
Yeah.
It will rip you apart. And look, I talk about it all the time with my friends. It's like, I know you want to be an actor, man, but it's so hard just to be an actor.
Yeah.
And make a living off of it.
Yeah.
And so if you think it's A to B to C to D, no, it's A.
Yeah.
And then, there's sniffs of B.
That's
Do you
right.
want to go to B?
That's
well,
right.
maybe you'll be there,
That's right.
And you just, it's
right.
this blind faith
Yeah.
that you kind of have to have and enjoy the process to get back to kind of it all, because if not, it's brutal, man.
Yeah,
and you need that family. You need other artists around you. So that doesn't surprise me. The acting community, I'm sure you've been around the stand-up community, and you've been up the acting community, and stand-up community is like, man, what are you gonna do next?
Yeah.
What's next? Man, that wasn't that funny. And actors like, welcome, we love you.
Yes.
You are our friends. And so I have both of that in me, I guess. And so definitely when it comes to going for something, make sure you have kicked the ass out of the current place you are at now.
No
and
doubt.
if you haven't, then don't expect to proceed to the next level.
That's the big thing, right? Because I think everyone lives in the future. They're
Yeah.
like, in the music world, it was always, how the hell, whose uncle got on this gig? You know what I mean?
Who's your agent?
That's right. They obviously know somebody. It's like, no, maybe they just are working harder than you.
Yeah.
And they got that opportunity because they played that gig that you didn't want to play because you thought you were too big to play that venue, right? That's just how
Oh
it
my
goes.
gosh, yes.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is always, it's never the big, like, this is it, guys. Like, how many times did you guys both have those times where you're like, guy, like for your show, it was like, this is a big record producer. He's out there and we're about to, and if you're like, this is the CEO, he really wants to, for like, hey man, this is the part walk. I remember 5 years when the first time I auditioned for Walking Dead, my daughter was 5 months old.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, honey, we're broke as hell. We just moved into a place. The security deposit in the first month was all we had. We're like, we're going to eat some sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. Double stacks. We got this. And my baby, my daughter, who's 12 now, was 5 months old in the little carriage.
yeah.
And I get the audition for Walking Dead, and I hold it. I'm like, honey, this is it. This is it. I mean, look at these guys. Nobody knew Andrew Lincoln before, right?
Yeah.
Ready? 5 years later. Walking Dead audition. My daughter's running around talking to my. I can't stand Walking Dead, but I'm going to keep auditioning
That's right.
because I made a decision to.
Yeah.
And luckily, I stuck around, and it will refer to the number one thought that I will give here in a second. And thank God, because then I booked 2 seasons and 9 episodes.
Yeah.
My life changes forever.
Yeah.
But that I woke up from a nap and my agent saying, "Hey, you got an audition from Walking Dead."
Yeah.
That wasn't the big target. I would have never said, "Oh, that's the moment." So you got to what? # stay ready, dog.
Yeah.
Stay ready.
Yeah.
Do you notice that Carlos said his number one? Like he's been going backwards. He's counting down his own
3,
3
2, 1.
thoughts. Yeah, 3, 2, 1 is where he's been.
Number one is my favorite. You're so right.
He's coming with his fade. So I have 2 questions. One's for Brant.
Yeah.
What doesn't Carlos Navarro do? Yeah, passion project.
I don't
Every time
know.
he talks, he's dropping
I don't
another
know.
concept.
You know, there's a part of me
Ready?
that thinks,
Math, science, automotive, makeup. There's a bunch of stuff.
He's
I'm
coming
real
for us. I
he's
think.
out there changing tires.
Yeah.
He's got, I don't know what's happening.
What
but
doesn't he do?
he's somewhere I
Too much
believe
energy.
there's a cult of people in tracksuits that he leads.
Yes,
And
there
I-
are.
you know-
Let's do this.
Yeah, it's at the,
Personal development unite.
this is what happens at the character actor conference. This is what they're doing. Carlos is their guy. There's posters.
Touch him in
Well, and the second question is for Carlos. I'm like, isn't really the second thought Kevin Hart's? I mean, if you think about
if you
it,
think about it,
That's
you really
true.
kind of just stole his, but
sorta
that's
stole
fine.
his.
It's fine.
I mean, the guy
100%.
needs help.
100%. Actually, You're right. The guy's always losing. The next one I also stole. Like,
Okay.
there's several that I probably could have said, but I definitely have stole these out of the mouth. And I think
You're
I
allowed.
didn't think that the theme was going to be quitting or not quitting, I should say.
Yeah.
Like not like, but it kind of has.
Yeah.
Like as I look, I'm like, oh, it kind of leads up to this. So.
Lay it on us, man. Lay it on us. What's your third thought that rocks? Bring us home.
Oh, do you want the story first, or do you just want the thought that rocks?
No, we want the story.
Give us the story.
Boom, here we go.
We're out of time. Just give us the thought. And
Never
Steve,
give up.
we're done. Wouldn't that be great if we just went to
Just
credit?
do it. Just do it. I saw it on an ad. It was awesome.
No, we want the
so,
story, brother.
The year is 1999.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Month.
Here we go.
Yeah, we remember 99.
That's right.
When we had beepers still,
Yep.
old cell phone, audio box cell phone.
Atlas
right?
chaps, the whole bit, Prince, the whole
The
thing.
whole thing.
Come on. Oh, I guess they're all
Exactly.
Atlas. Yeah, that's
I think that was just one of us.
Yeah,
okay. That was me.
whatever.
That
We
was
all
odd.
went to 8
That was
seconds.
weird.
We wore them.
That's right.
So I'm a young chap, intern on the Monsters. Daryl Hammond walks in studio.
That's great.
The
Great
legendary impressionist. He comes in. He's an interesting guy, and I'm looking at him. This was the first famous person that I'd seen come in the studio, like super famous. And I was like, I just watched you on SNL.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
I'm fresh out of high school. I have ideas of going into the entertainment industry. I was really behind the camera. I did TV production. I wanted to direct. Never really thinking to get in front, other than just a little bit.
Yeah.
And there he is. He's talking, and I was like so impressed by him. He did all these things. I was like, I do voices. I do that. My mom always like, why don't you do it, Carlos? You can do that. Yeah, whatever. So for whatever reason, he goes in the break room, and I kind of follow him over there. And he's standing there. He's like signing autographs. I'm standing at the end, and he comes. I finally come up to him, and I don't know why I said this. I walk up to him. I go, "Hey, man, one day I'm going to be standing right there next to you on that stage." And I stuck up my hand, and he stuck. And he shakes a hand, and he goes, "If you don't quit, you eliminate 99% of the competition." And it was like, boom.
Yeah.
I can physically remember going, whoa, like that makes sense. I just got to keep going at this entertainment thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then he said this. He goes, Carlos, because we had talked at that point on the air or whatever. He's like, Carlos, I walked up to Al Pacino in a bar 30 years ago and said what you said to me, and that's what he told me.
Oh,
Whoa.
Al Pacino's like,
we got Pacino wisdom on this show. Right
Kevin
now?
Hart
Holy
and Pacino
shit.
wisdom together.
Is this the top? We're at the top.
We're here! We're here! Forget everything I said! There is a physical top, and we've made it! We've made it!
Pacino wisdom.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
That rocks! Hoofa!
That's
You
right.
want thoughts that rock? We got Pacino with Jim and Brand telling things they ain't never heard before. Hoofa! Hard rock, rock and roll, that rocks.
We should have done the whole interview with that as
my
Pacino.
gosh, right?
Okay.
That's friggin'
Number
brilliant.
3. Here we go.
I thought you were going to do a Daryl Hammond
yeah,
doing
right?
Clinton impression.
No, Daryl's. Yeah, no. So yeah, man, that honestly, that was like, there was no connection to acting at that point. There was no like, hadn't even taken my acting class yet. That was literally the moment was like, oh, you need to act. My teacher was like, you have to act, Carlos. Stop f***ing around. Excuse my French. And I'll always remember Daryl for that. And if I ever meet Pacino, I don't want to meet him and be like, hey, man, like I talked to Daryl and he said this to me and have this real moment. Pacino goes, what the are you talking about? I never said that.
Remember
I
that?
think that sounds like some made up bullshit, Carlos.
You remember that time you talked to Daryl Hammond and you said, "Don't quit and you'll be better than 90%."
What the f are you talking about, Brent?
That was Farley
never
doing
met
Paul
the guy.
McCartney.
Farley doing.
Asking Paul McCartney, remember that time you were in the Beatles?
Remember?
Yeah.
That's it.
So
Yeah,
I'm
so-
sweating. You are. It's been a while since we busted a gut on the
Right,
show.
man.
That was awesome. We should literally do an episode with just Pacino. We'll have the screen blacked out. And nobody will even know. That sounded
No
pretty
problem.
good, man.
We're gonna do
I
it.
know.
It's gonna rock. I got to drink an Al Pacino cappuccino beforehand. Hoofa!
Yeah, I think what I love about this is that it sort of all ties together, right? So we talk about never quitting. Or if you just continue to pursue it, you're going to be better than 90%. And I think that plays into the fact that we talked about, sort of manage your expectations, right? Like don't think that you've got to be at this level or whatever it is, and you're not willing to do the stuff to get there. Because I think that, people who are auditioning, and, we've been down that road, and we've got friends who are still in that space, and they get just so bummed out when they go on the audition and it doesn't go well, or they don't get that call back or whatever it is. And then the world is crashing until they get their next audition. Right.
Yeah. You're right.
And it's like, what, can you find those incremental bridges, right? Just those little things that you can do that feels like wins, so that you can continue to stay committed to the goal. Right. And I think that's the tough part, is that they just abandon all the little things that they could be doing. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, because that is so true. You have to stay on a path. I'm a big believer in writing everything down. That's like the ethos of everything I do. You need that marketing campaign for the brain. If not, you're going to forget. And if every day you write down, okay, well, I'm going to get some headshots done. Okay, well, I haven't got it done, and I'm going to get my actors access up. I'm going to look for a class, and you check that off every day. Now you're taking those steps towards feeling accomplished or valued. You mentioned this, Brent, about actors, their whole world's breaking down when they don't book something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I have absolutely had bad days after an audition, and I'm like, shit, man. And it's like life-changing auditions, when I didn't book a Lin-Manuel one, when I didn't book these ones. And then you see the effers on TV that booked it instead of you. Yeah. It's like, but what I realized, shout out to Yvonne Suhor, which is one of my acting teachers, God rest her soul, was she always had this method with entertainers, is like, you are a tie salesman. Okay, you walk into an audition, whether you're rocking or whether you're doing stand-up or whether you're doing acting, specifically acting, and you open up that tie briefcase, and these are your ties, and they're beautiful, and they're awesome, and they could go like, wow, those are awesome, and then you shut them, you walk out the door, and they go, man, those are beautiful ties, but like, man, that doesn't fit with what we're doing here. Yep. That's entertainment. Mm-hmm. You can't take it personal. One of my favorite books is The Four Agreements, and one of them is don't take things personally. Yeah. And man, you have to have that in entertainment, because when you do book something, you have to understand other people didn't. That's right. And they're feeling what you felt every other time. And that's why sports is so great, because you can learn how to do that with sports. Oh, you didn't win this one, but you won the other. Sports and auditioning are very similar, like bizarrely enough.
Yeah, totally.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew we were going to have some laughs. I knew that it would be fun. And like you said, there's riches in the niches. Such a niche thing, although I knew we'd have people in the audience that probably are looking to break in. But this stuff is so applicable to, I think, just about everybody, regardless of whatever their job is or maybe even their career. The three things I wrote down again, just to make sure: to the top, never stop. And you were saying it's always, about the journey. Enjoy the path, enjoy the journey. It's not about the ultimate destination. Don't go to LA. Wait until LA calls you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And the third one, if you don't quit, you will eliminate 99% of the competition. Yeah. I mean, this stuff is, it is gold, man. It is so fun to just spend some time with you. Carlos, where, you do so much, but where would you like for us to send people? I'm going to put a whole bunch of things in the show notes, so they'll definitely find a lot of pathways to get a hold of you. But where would you like for people to check your stuff out?
Oh, man, thank you so much. Honestly, elaborating on these thoughts, that rock, has been so much fun, and I hope we can do it again for sure, maybe in person too. Every morning, find me on the radio, which is great, and it's also on YouTube and every other major platform. Monsters in the Morning, 5 hours of talk. I actually do a To the Top segment on there where it's all about motivation. And when I created To the Top Never Stop, I'd been unceremoniously fired from said radio show for acting. They literally said, you cannot act. Oh, yeah. I got fired. And then they asked me to come back about 8 years later. And I said, well, you just can't mess with my acting now, can you? Like, absolutely not. And so there's a lot to the story. I love iHeart. I love the Monsters. I love Real Radio. It's a part of me. Yeah. And so if you could kindly listen every morning, I'd like that. And then just go to my website, tothetopneverstop.com. A lot more about my methodology with personal development, passion project, workshops, speaking, all that.
He does it all. He does it all, man. This was so enriching and so fun for us.
Yes.
I was talking about, like I said, before we even jumped on, I was just saying at lunch, I haven't looked forward, excited to a guest in a long time like yours. We love all of our guests, but just going, this is so unique and so different. And yet, again, very applicable to everybody, man. We love you. We're going to definitely follow along in your journey, man. We will, we'll look for you next time to be on the show.
You bet.
Hell yeah. Appreciate
We'll talk to you soon.
Both of y'all have been awesome, man. Peace.
Hey, rock stars. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah, and listen, we know how busy you are, and grabbing those little nuggets of wisdom that can amp up your life are super hard to come by. So we hope this episode helped you enough for you to maybe subscribe and consider leaving us a rating and a review so that we can continue to grow the show.
Thus That Rock is a proud member of the Evergreen Podcast Network and also supports Cannonball Kids Cancer and their fight for finding and funding treatment options for kids who have run out of options. They're amazing. Their work is incredible. To learn more, please go to cannonballkidscancer.org.
Finally, if you're interested in having Brant or Jim or both of us speak at your event, whether as a virtual webinar or an in-person conference keynote or mastermind, contact us directly at thoughtsatrock.com.
Until next time,
Rock on!